Prophekey by Paul Fowler and Murphy's Magic is a brand new card reveal, but also an EDC item that hides on your keychain. There are so many card reveals out there on the market, so should you get this one? Today, we're going to find out. When you purchase this, first of all, you'll get an uncut set of a gold and a silver key. This is what they look like. You'll also get a set for a 4 of Hearts reveal. Again, a gold and a silver key for the 4 of Hearts reveal. This is the 4 of Hearts reveal. You will also get, in addition to this, a 7 of Diamonds reveal. Now, this is the one I've been carrying around on my keychain since I got it. And as you can see, the gold has lost a bit of color. It's not that big of a deal. It happens when you keep the keys on the keychain for a long time, hitting against each other. But that is what you get. And these are the keys up close. What are you going to be receiving when you purchase Prophekey? When you purchase Prophekey by Paul Fowler and Murphy's Magic, you'll receive 6 keys inside your box. 3 of the keys are gold and 3 of the keys are silver. So you'll get 3 sets of keys, one ungimmicked, uncut set of keys without a card reveal, 1 set of keys that does a 4 of Hearts reveal, and a set of keys with a 7 of Diamonds reveal. You'll also get a QR code for the tutorial, and in addition, you will receive access to a website, which is a playing card generator that supposedly randomly generates playing cards, but can be used to force playing cards. You don't have to use the site, but it's there to give the routine more of an impromptu feeling. So if someone were to ask you to do a trick with a phone, you could act like you didn't have a deck of cards and say, oh, you know what? I remember there was this card generator. Then that would feel super impromptu, super natural, and super out of the blue to the spectator. So they'd think, oh, he just did magic with everything he had on him, his keys, his phone, and he still did that. Wow. And that would be pretty impressive. Now, what is the quality of the gimmick? There are no moving parts. It's just keys that you can keep on your keychain. Everything is self-contained. Really, these should last you a lifetime because there's really nothing to break. They are made of metal. I have been carrying these around. I've been carrying around the 7 of Diamonds set on my keychain. And I noticed the gold key has been losing a bit of its color, which isn't a huge deal, but it is something to keep in mind. That's going to happen when the keys are hitting, but I wish the color would have been a bit stronger or a bit more resistant to coming off. I don't think it should come off easily, but keep in mind, I've had them on the keychain for quite a while now. Now, how's the tutorial? The tutorial is about an hour long. Javier Fuenmayer is the one who teaches it. He goes through the history and the credits, how to carry your keys using the site, how to do it offline, how to do the reveal, how to perform this in a parlor or stage setting, which uses the power of shadows, which is very cool. He also talks about the two different sets of keys, the blank keys, how to perform this with playing cards, and final thoughts. It was a pretty good tutorial. Javier goes through pretty much everything you need to know. It's a good tutorial. Now, what are the angles like? This can be performed completely surrounded. The secret behind the keys is not something that any spectators should understand until it is revealed to them. They shouldn't see it. The generator also has a very generic URL, so it's not something that should be suspected, and you can even open it up on your spectator's phone. Now, is this examinable? The keys are examinable because they're just keys. There's really nothing to find, even if they examine the keys in the beginning of the routine. The card generator as well online, they can tap it and generate random cards as many times as they want. And they'll see that it's a real generator. It's not a trick website. They won't think it's a trick website or anything. They can test the website on their own. It'll still work. And unless you know the secret, you won't be able to operate it. Now, the effect can also be repeated with a completely different card. However, you will have to switch the keys. And if you were to repeat the effect with the different card, that would make the carrying situation slightly more difficult because you wouldn't want to have, I don't think, both sets of keys on one keychain. You would want one set of keys in your right pocket, one set of keys in your left pocket, in my opinion. Now, let's talk about the difficulty and practicality of the effect. This is not difficult to do. It's very, very easy. You don't even need to be able to force a card because the website does it for you. If you want to perform with playing cards and you don't want to do it with a phone, then you will need to learn how to force a card. But even that is super simple because you can do something as simple as a crosscut force or something such as that. Now, all you have to do is be able to tap the site, and you can hand the keys to the spectator and they won't notice anything because they don't know what to look for initially. And yeah, I think everything here does the work for you. There's really no sleight of hand that's required. And as for practicality, the main routine is best for cocktail or strolling magic for 2 to 4 people. It would be harder to see the holes if you're in a big group or a big table, which is why I wouldn't probably perform this for table hopping on big banquet tables. As I mentioned before, there are some methods of performing this on larger groups, such as using a camera flashlight and projecting the shadow onto the wall, but those are not, walls aren't always there when you're doing banquet situations for big tables. So I feel like it's less practical for those. Is there any DIY required? No, there's no DIY required. Everything you need comes ready to go right in the box. Pocket space. That's the main selling point of this effect, of Prophekey. All you have to carry around is your 2 keys and your phone, or you could even borrow somebody else's cell phone. It's not limited to iPhone or Android. Or you could even use a deck of cards. So there's a bunch of different ways you could present this. You could also have kind of a key transformation where the keys start uncut, but in the spectator's hands, they become cut. Now, what is the reset like? This trick resets instantly. Now, there are many card reveals on the market, and this is a big thing. There are many card reveals on the market. So should you purchase this? And if so, why should you purchase this? I'm going to tell you all about that right now. Now, this depends on if you like the look of the effect. In my opinion, yes, there are quite a few card reveals on the market that can play bigger than this, such as an insurance policy or something. There are many card reveals that can play to a stage or parlor show better than this. That said, although it's harder to perform this in front of large crowds, you can perform it in front of large crowds, but it's a bit harder to perform in front of large crowds. Although it's harder to do that, it is definitely a lot more organic than some of the other large card reveals on the market. So it really depends on what you're going for. If you're going for something that packs flat, plays huge, then you'll probably want to check out other card reveals like the insurance policy. But if you want something that can play to most impromptu environments and something that is very strong and feels very organic, then this is great because this ticks off those boxes. It is very organic and it feels like you're performing when you're unprepared, when you have nothing on you. Now, is this worth the price? This costs $35 US, and you get 3 sets of keys, 2 gimmicked, 1 uncut set. Absolutely, this is worth the price. If you like the look of it, if you plan on using it, absolutely, it's worth the price. If you look at other gimmicked key sets on the market, such as Keymaster by Craig Petty, that is, I think, $60 US, and you only get 4 gimmicked keys. This includes 6 gimmicked keys. Of course, they're not apples to oranges. They're 2 completely different effects, but I'm just referencing some other key tricks on the market. So this is definitely worth the price. Now, what are the pros and cons? The pros are the props quite literally do all the work for you. It seems very organic to spectators, and you could perform it in impromptu situations. This will last a lifetime. You get 2 sets of gimmicks, 1 set of uncut keys. This is fully examinable. There are perfect angles. The reset is instant and very little pocket space is required. The cons are in a sense, it is another card reveal. It is just another card reveal in some senses. Like it or not, there are a lot of card reveals on the market. So it's all about finding the perfect one for you. Also, this is best for smaller groups when you're performing the main routine without a projector or without a flashlight. So this is best performed on 2 to 4 people, in my opinion. Also, the color on the gold key can fade a little bit with time, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It has no impact on the effect. It's just a cosmetic thing. You also You don't have to use the phone website, but if you do use it, but don't have enough justification for it, it may seem a little bit suspicious. And Javier talks about this in the tutorial. He talks about how Paul does it to make sure you justify why you're using a phone to the spectators. Also, the keys are a little bit small and the gaps between the keys are even smaller. And this means it can be a bit harder to see without using the alternative method taught if you're performing for a big group. So make sure you know your audience. Make sure you know when you should perform this. If you're performing on a group of 10, 20 people, this probably isn't the right card reveal. But if you're doing it in an intimate environment or casual performance, this will kill. Now, what percent am I giving this? I'm giving Prophekey by Paul Fowler and Murphy's Magic an 85%. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this and found it helpful, and I'll see you next time.